I mean, I can unmute it and then we can randomly have. There you go. Now we're unmuted, so you can have random conversation if you like with people just maybe listening or tuning in
No, it's too late. I'm all out of spontaneous humor
about putting things inside me.
of putting things inside Jordan,
Oh,
like bullets.
oh, is that what you meant? You got a bullet with my name on it? You and non-point?
Yeah, yeah. No, trust me, it's big enough. You'll feel it when it goes up your ass.
the, is a bullet a euphemism for something, Rob?
No, just a nice big lubed up bullet to go inside
Alrighty.
you.
On that note, let's go ahead and start this thing. Hello and welcome to the 196th episode of the Game Out Loud podcast, your one and only podcast for all things gaming. God dang it, I so go into that. I do this. Hi, I'm Jordan Rusnak. With me, I have Rob Peterson.
Hello, I didn't realize we were getting so close to episode 200. We'll have to do something special for that, like podcast in the nude or something.
Yeah, or we could not do that. Whichever one fits your bill better. I guess we're at a standstill
Yes.
here. We need a third person to decide if that would be the case. Because I say no,
We
you
need a
say yes.
tiebreaker vote.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we should leave it up to our listeners. Listeners, for our 200 episode, let us know if you want us to podcast in the buff. Just a disclaimer there. No matter what you say, we will not. Just because I want to continue having a
Well,
YouTube
yeah,
account
Jordan
and
won't.
a Twitch account. Yeah, they can't ban you. I mean, maybe I think they can still ban my account for your nudity, though.
No, they wouldn't ban it. You just need to clear up that people are 18 or whatever. It's fine.
Do they have it? Do they have a button for that?
Yeah,
Really?
they do.
Like, so YouTube is not nearly as uptight as like PlayStation?
Oh no, they used to be, but yeah, they've mellowed out.
Interesting. The world of YouTube. I've never went into the streaming world of YouTube other than to broadcast to it. I never go and see what's actually going on there. So,
Yeah, you're missing out, kind of.
maybe a little, not really.
No, there's some YouTube stuff I like. In fact, an episode of the Jimquisition inspired the discussion for this week. So I know you didn't get a chance to watch it, but
I like
I'll
Jim
send it to you after
Sterling.
we talk about this. Yeah, I didn't used to like Jim Sterling, but he's grown on me, and I think he's gotten. I think he gets better every year too, and to the point where his show's like one of the best things going right now in gaming. I think.
Yeah, I used to listen to him on the Destructoid, which even
Yeah,
there that got a little bit. I mean, I can have some foul words come out of my mouth, but man, that guy just makes it an art form. It's impressive. But we're not here to talk about Jim Sterling or the Jimquisition. We're here to talk about video games. So let's go ahead and jump over to Rob and see what he's been playing this week.
yeah. I was out of town for most of the week, but that's not to say I didn't get any gaming done because I did. I was up at my dad's house a few hours from here, up in the mountains, and he has an Xbox there.
An
So
original Xbox or an Xbox
an
360?
Xbox One, which
Oh,
he doesn't play games on it at all. He uses it as a multimedia device for streaming and Blu-ray playing and stuff.
so wait, he
Uh,
actually uses the Xbox One as Microsoft intended, as like the
I
hub
I
of his
know.
living room?
Yeah, it's weird.
Wow, you might want to have him write Microsoft. He might be able to get some like money back or
Some free
something.
swag.
Yeah.
Become their mascot. Um, but yeah, since I was up there, there were some times when I was stuck at home watching the kid, not out doing fun stuff. So I downloaded Resident Evil 4.
Ooh, I remember that one.
Yeah, so
Wait,
the
was that
HD remake is out now for that. And it's very much like the original Dreamcast version, except in 60 frames per second, right down to the tank controls.
was that also on the Wii? Or was that
I don't
5?
know. It's been ported. It was ported to the 360. It was ported to the PC a while back. I have it on the PC as well. I think I talked about it on the show a year or two ago
Hmm.
when I was playing it. But yeah, once you get past the shitty controls, I love that game. So it's got such a great atmosphere.
Yeah, tank
Uh,
controls are not a good thing.
no, they're not. But yeah, I get used to them fairly quickly. And you're fighting shambling zombies, so you have plenty of time to wrestle with the controls before they get to you most of the time. So, but the way they build the sense of dread and mystery in that game is just really artfully done. And that's down to the sound design, the visual design, um, just the little prompts you get when you're walking around interacting with the environment, like noticing that in this village you're in, all the food is rotten, even though it's full of people, they're not eating the food, and just little touches like that just really make you go, "What the hell's going on here?" So that's a lot of fun, and of course, it's also just kind of it's a nice nostalgic throwback too to go back and play that game.
Yeah, I can't remember if that's one that I was playing when you came to a party at my place in
I don't know.
over in Nampa
I remember playing Fable at your place. And that dates when this was Fable 1, the new at the time Fable 1.
on original Xbox.
I think so.
Yeah, I had an original Xbox for a while because I had one of the modded ones that had like all the N64 or no, sorry, the NES, the Super NES, like Game Boy. It had an emulator on there. I could also like go and rent games and just burn them to the hard drive. It was fantastic. Speaking of Xboxes, man, like if anybody knows where I can get a copy and how to make it work without actually finding another Xbox, Breakdown. Do you remember that game from Xbox?
Hmm.
It was a one of the first installments of not installments, but one of the first times I'd seen well done, or at least what I remember being well done, first person combat in a game. It didn't really work very well with the guns, but you did have combat that was really really cool, and you could do like flip kicks, and it never left first person. So like you were doing these punches, and you're getting like this power that was taking over your arm. Like the cover of it was an arm that was like I think like glowing red and like had yellow like lava veins moving through it. It was yeah.
Never heard of this game.
Oh, it was really good. I'll have to try to find video of it for you on the break and then maybe show it to you. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, there's a lot of good Xbox games that like you can't play anywhere else. Like shoot, Psyops. Did you ever play Psyops?
Nope. I wasn't a big Xbox player. We had one in my house with the original Xbox, but that came out around the time that I finally got a decent PC. So I was a young PC master race elitist all the way.
Oh yeah, Trespasser all day long.
I remember playing Half-Life 2 on my PC, or no, as a Doom 3, just like scoffing at my brother who was playing Halo 2, just like peasant.
Peasant. Yeah, you had your class system.
Yeah, yeah. People think that's a new invention. No, it's been that way for a long time.
Oh no, Nintendo and Sega guys. Like
The one that I did play that I really thought was cool as a kid though was the old Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
that
Not the
was a good
original,
one.
way back Prince of Persia, but yeah, the Sands of Time. That was a really good one. Has not aged well. I think
Really?
third person games, yeah, because it doesn't have the modern third person controls we're all used to, where right stick's camera, left stick's move. It was I think it was fixed cameras still, if I remember correctly.
Interesting. Okay.
So it makes going back to it kind of a chore.
Because
But yeah,
I
at
know
the
later
time,
games in that franchise did have the movable camera.
yeah.
Those were good games though. Like being able to like kill your character, rewind time, be like, oh, let's see what happens. Just like crunch. Oh, nope, rewind.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen anything from that franchise for a while. They kind of drove it into the ground.
Well, that and then you had Assassin's Creed, which I mean, if you're talking about it, like Sands of Time, Prince of Persia was doing like the whole parkour thing. That was really their thing. And then now that Assassin's Creed does it, I mean, hell, they even ran themselves into the ground. So the company that took over the company that ran themselves into the ground ran themselves into the ground.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see it though. Like I did like the combat in some of those and some of the abilities that you had, and they were charming little games. You know what I really want? I want a good, and I know they're rare. I want a good superhero game. Now I'm talking like Spider-Man 2 superhero game. Like
Yeah,
open world.
they're called the Arkham games, dude.
No. Like I don't like Batman. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't not like Batman. Yeah, right. This podcast is over. I like Batman, but I don't like. I want a Spider-Man. I want a bigger a bigger thing. Like Batman is he's the perfect superhero that's not a that has no powers, but I want a powered superhero. And I think we finally have a like a console or a computer that will have the ability to make these worlds big and make them intricate. And they made Spider-Man 2 and it was
Well,
fantastic.
what about like I mean that's pretty much the exact same thing that shit, what are those games? There's two series
Infamous
of them.
and
Infamous and
Prototype.
what's the other, yeah, Prototype.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Prototype. Infamous was a little slow moving for me too much in the beginning to really get into. I played Infamous Second Son, and I did not like that at all. That was
I think I played that too. I think we talked about it on the podcast.
I believe we did as well.
I know that I play too many fucking games for this podcast because I can't even remember what I played anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we should change the goal of this podcast. Just be like, let's just talk about video games in general, and then leave the new stuff damned unless we want to actually get it.
Yeah, we might start doing that. In fact, I think Battlefield 1 is going to be the beginning of that because I'm not picking that game up.
Oh,
But we'll talk about
I
it.
would
We'll
not
talk
expect you to. That's like I will of course be buying it because we all know Jordan's a Battlefield head, and I did get some time in the beta, which I'm going to talk about here later on. But excuse me, I don't know where my cough button is anymore. So, but yeah, I don't expect you to pick that up. I don't expect you to pick up Titanfall 2, Dishonored 2.
Although I might pick up Titanfall 2.
Yeah,
I hear there's a campaign now,
indeed,
which
I'm
interests me way more. You know.
right. I'm with you. I'm also looking forward to that, and I wasn't looking forward to that when they noticed that campaign was out. I've seen some gameplay. I'm like, oh, this looks like it might not be bad. Like, I'll check it out. The Shattered Butthole. Are you picking that up?
Yes, that's not till December though. So
Correct.
that'll probably be so. Our next scheduled review is Dishonored 2. So that's mid-November when we'll be recording that, and then probably South Park: The Shattered Butthole will be the next one after that. And then if we get Titanfall, that's sooner, right? That's like October, September.
Titanfall. Let's see. I'm just trying to pull it up here. Titanfall is 28th of September, or sorry, October.
Okay.
Battlefield is the 21st. These are both Friday releases, by the way, and Mafia 3 is the 7th. And those are all Friday releases, which is strange. When does that start happening? This is crap.
They should do that all the time.
Hell
I would
no. I
would way prefer to get a game on a Friday and be able to play it all weekend.
Yeah, if you got a Friday. I don't get a Friday. Friday's my Wednesday.
Yeah, well, you're unusual in that respect.
I'll give you that. Are you picking up Mafia 3?
No,
Okay. Then
no,
we have
haven't played any of the other ones.
Dishonored 2 on the 11th.
Yep. Well, we're definitely going to do a review on that, and we'll hopefully get Kevin Kirk back for that because he's a fan of that series.
Oh, we'll definitely have him on. Election Day's on the 8th, apparently. Shattered Butt is on the... That's what I have it in here as a Shattered BUT, or that's what it shows. So, Shattered Butt,
The fractured butthole.
yeah, is the 6th of December, and that's the last thing that I see on my list for purchases.
Okay, so if you're listening to this, for sure Dishonored, we'll probably do a Titanfall 2 review as well. Unless the reviews come out and they're bad, but especially that being a Friday release, that'll give me more time to play it. So, but yeah, I think those are the three big ones, unless I'm forgetting something that we're going to do.
Yeah, and I'll play some of those other ones. Like those caught my eye, right? Like Mafia 3, that sounds like it's going to be a good one, and of course Battlefield 1.
Yeah. I'm not saying those are the only new games we're going to talk about this year because I'll probably pick up some other stuff too. But those are the ones we're going to do. We're going to put the time in and do a full episode review on.
Correct. Yeah. But what else has been taking up your time this week, my friend?
I haven't really started playing it yet, but I just want to give people the warning because I'm almost done with Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Really, still like that a lot. It's probably my favorite game of the year so far. Like I said, it's right. It's like Doom and Deus Ex 4 are my front runners so far. But that kind of gave me the itch for this type of game, so I downloaded a few of my favorites in that style,
No Man's
including
Sky.
Vampire. Yeah, No Man's Sky. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines. I got that. I got it all patched up. There's a new
Awesome.
patch. It's just a couple months old for that. And this time I'm gonna put in the fan restoration stuff. So, in addition to just fixing bugs and gameplay issues, it actually adds in some content. So I'm excited to check that out because that's a great game. You've
Sweet.
played that game, right, Jordan?
I have played 20 minutes of that game.
Okay.
I like when I put it in, I didn't know it was broken.
Oh,
Uh, and I never took the time to find the patch. So you said you have said patch, right?
yeah, it's easy to find.
Okay, sweet. I'll have to download it and also play because you've raved about it. You've said it's really good. And I remember liking Vampire the Masquerade
Yeah. Oh, well,
Redemption.
Redemption. Yeah. Yeah, and it's set in the same world as that. But I think you would like this because it gives you tons of options. It's like in some ways it feels like a Deus Ex game because you're walking around this hub picking up quests and stuff like that. But it's also a full blown RPG with tons of character creation options and like, tons. Like there's tons of different vampire. Uh, your mouse
Factions.
is visible on my thing, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Um, sorry, just distract me a little bit. Yeah, there's all the different clans you can join, and then there's different ways you can build your character on top of that. And the clan that you're in affects the ways different clans respond to you. Um, and then there's also you can play as a Malkavian, who are the insane ones, and
I
the
like the
entire game
Malkavians.
is reactive to that. So I don't recommend doing that for a first playthrough because the game won't even make sense if you play as a Malkavian.
Oh,
It'll
maybe.
be like,
Okay, so that's the character I chose. Maybe that's part of
oh,
the reason that it
you probably
seemed.
thought it was broken. It's
Yeah.
not. That's just that you see it through the eyes of a Malkavian, so
Okay.
events don't really make sense.
Yeah, so that is probably 100% what happened because I was like, oh, Malkavians, I remember them. They're the crazy ones. Hell yeah. Like, oh, pissed off Kristoff, the guy that only could only speak in rhymes. Like, the Malkavians are great. I chose one of them. So, okay. Let me, what's this called again? Vampire the Masquerade. Let's go ahead and just go, where is it? Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Install. There we go. I'll keep that
Yeah,
up for later.
I think you'll enjoy the game, and I know you like vampires and just like the setting seems like something you'd appreciate. The ability to break the game seems like something you'd appreciate.
Oh, yeah, breaking things. That's always my favorite.
Yeah, Jordan loves breakable games because he's an expert at breaking them.
Yeah.
So,
Just because I want to see what happens.
and if you enjoy the game, then go back and play it as a Malkavian because as a second playthrough, Malkavian's awesome. That's the best way. It's hilarious.
Sweet. I'll have to install that. I actually been looking at going back and trying to find some of the old games that I used to play as a kid, like on Origin. They actually have Nox right now for free if you have an Origin account.
Yeah, I got that for like $1 on GOG a few years ago.
Yeah.
I still haven't played it. It's just in my collection of shit I'll never play.
Yeah.
But you should check GOG more often. I've been using them more, probably more than Steam even now.
I pull up GOG quite a bit.
Stuff.
Humble Bundle actually I look at quite often as well.
Yeah, I should look at that more. I have so many Humble Bundle games that I haven't even redeemed.
Yeah, I have a bunch of Capcom games in there. What's the Humble Bundle right now? Like that's always a good one to check out. The really? It doesn't just automatically do Humble Bundle for me? There we go. Bada bing. I'll never forget the day that I found the Humble Bundle. I was like, this makes no sense. How am I going to get all these games for that cost? Game Maker Bundle? Wow, that's a lot of games. Holy shit. I wonder how... And the Sierra... Oh, the Sierra Bundle's still going. If you didn't know that, if you like old Sierra games, like I know you and I were LucasArts games guys growing up, but the Sierra Games Bundle is actually still going, which you can get quite a few games for $20.
I probably had more than one, but the one Sierra game that I remember playing as a kid, at least I
Hmm.
think it was Sierra, is Space Quest 4. And that game pissed me off so bad because I would be putting along and I'd solve like one puzzle and then I'd die. And the game was so unfair. It just fucked with you, and I did not appreciate that as a kid. So that's my primary experience with Sierra games. I also
I
did like King's Quest and stuff, right?
Yeah, King's Quest, Police Quest, stuff like that. I only played really The Incredible Machine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was good. And what was it? Gizmos and Gadgets. I think that was Sierra, wasn't it?
Uh, what wasn't that part of the creative or the machine?
No, the Incredible Machine was better. Oh no, I'm wrong. That was the Learning Company in Microsoft. It was Gizmos and Gadgets.
Yeah.
Incredible Machine was a great game though. I think that's on GOG.
Really?
I think so.
I would play that for hours as a kid. Yeah, the Incredible
Yep.
Machine.
Yep, the Mega Pack.
The Mega Pack. Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. If there's a Mega Pack on GOG, I bet you I already have it. I don't go on GOG nearly enough. Like I have a GOG account, but I never think to go there. I have GOG Galaxy installed on my computer, which fat lot of good that did me with no cloud saves when I lost my Witcher save. But account
Yeah.
library. What five? I have 5 things in my library. What do you think I have in my library?
Jedi Knight.
Nope.
Clive Barker's Undying.
Nope.
System Shock 2.
Oh shit, Clive Barker, yes, and no on System Shock.
I give up on the rest.
Yeah, I don't know any of these games. I think these are all ones that they gave me. Other than I have The Witcher and The Witcher 3, Treasure Adventure Game, Beneath a Steel Sky, Clive Barker, Dragon Sphere, Heroes of Might and Magic Gold 2, Lure of the Temptress, Mage Runner, Teen Agent, Treasure Adventure, Tyran 2000, Ultima 7.
Well, some of these is because that's when we were doing the classic game episodes. So like not Tyrion, but Ultima 7 we did an episode on,
Yeah, Ultima
and
Worlds.
Heroes of Might and Magic we did an episode on.
Oh, you're right. So yeah, The Witcher and The Witcher 3, those and Clive Barker. Those are the only 3 games I bought. Do they have good sales like Steam does?
Yeah.
Just on like the weekends and stuff. Like I probably could have gotten a pretty good one over the Labor Day weekend.
I didn't look at it, but probably.
First thing I see is Planescape Torment, so I know why you like this. Why you like this site. It's a good site though. Awesome. Well, anything else been taking up your time?
That's it.
Awesome. Cool. I've only got a couple things. First off, I want to talk about Giant Boulder of Death on the iPhone and Android devices. I know I'm pulling a Dylan, but it has literally been taking up time, like quantifiable time, and it's actually pretty fun. It's just a little, like, roll the ball back and forth, made by Adult Swim Games, try to destroy everything you can, and avoid being destroyed. So look, check that out. It's a good little time waster if you're sitting there and you have 5 minutes. Giant Boulder of Death. Try to beat my score of 193,000 because I want to see if you can, because I felt like I was a Jedi at that point, just throwing it out there. But you'll probably do better than me. But then I want to talk about the Battlefield 1 beta that I was playing just earlier. And that game looks
Yeah,
rather...
wait. Just give me a one-word answer. If I haven't liked the other Battlefields, is this the one? Is this the one that's going to sell me?
I'm conflicted. I'm in a I mean, this is a conflict of interest,
but
Rob.
The fact that you have to at least think about it, that's good news, right?
Yeah. Well, only because I played 2 rounds of it. I don't really have much of a view of the broad scope of things. I always play hardcore mode, so whenever they do betas, they're always in normal mode, so it takes way too many shots, in my opinion, to kill your enemy. But I was doing pretty decently, running like a 1-for-1 KD, or a 1 KD, right? So, just leads me to think that I can maybe do a little bit better in the actual thing. The vehicles seem like they're way OP, or maybe I just don't know how to deal with them. But it is set in World War I, so vehicles would be OP. But there has to be a way to stop them, because in the rounds that I was playing, the tanks would just move from point to point and take everything over. And if you have someone that's just dicking off in your tank, you're done for. If the other team's tank's actually playing objectively, then you're kind of screwed. But it definitely looks fantastic. There's a really cool effect when you choose your character, instead of just spawning up from black. Like, it zooms down into the map, and then like you're in your character. Which is kind of sweet. It is very old looking and feeling. The sound is fantastic. They do use a weird phonetic alphabet. So like, instead of alpha they use Apple instead of like let's see, they use George instead of, I don't know what G is in the in that, but they use different
Yeah,
ones
no.
that I know. So maybe that's the British version of it because I was always playing Brits. But it looks really good. The effects are really good. The the way it works seems to work very, very well. I wasn't having any problems with like tick rate or not being able to find a server, at least for the beta. So that leads me to believe that hopefully the game maybe is finished this time once they release it. Because remember, Battlefield 4 was indeed not. In fact, I put that game down for about 6 months once I actually purchased it, and then came back to it later and got heavily into it. From what I played here, it looks like it's at least solid for what they've set up. I look forward to seeing more of it as far as how they do the unlocks and what I can do for customization. Because right now you can unlock a handful of guns, and there's a bunch that say in the full game on them. But then on top of that, there's a customized rifle or customized weapon slot that is, or a tab that is not available yet. That's only available in the full version of the game. So I have yet to see how deep that customization goes. But we'll see. I'm really hopeful that it will let you go down to a granular level, but being as it's World War One, how much can I really change on the weapon when weapons like that are very experimental? Anything that has optics or that has a very fast firing system is not a tried and true method at this point, so I don't see how I can mess with it that much.
Right.
But it looks good. I look forward to playing more of it, but the beta goes through the 8th, so I'll get a few more hours in maybe, and then I'll talk about it next week maybe. Or maybe I'll just hold off and just play it when it comes out in October. 6th one, half dozen the other. That's all I've been playing this week. Do you want to do an extra point section? Do you have something for that, buddy?
Not really, but I did remember something else I've been playing,
Oh, yeah, what's up?
so I could talk about that. Boy, I have to call up Mark Daly and eat some crow.
Really?
Eat some big crow, yeah.
We can call him right now.
Uh, I've been playing Destiny with Colin and actually having a grand old time.
Really? Okay, so they've changed it enough?
Yeah, and also, I mean, no offense to you and Dylan, but you guys take that shit pretty seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I was having a hard time keeping up. Um, and being able to play with someone who's new to it and just kind of like figure it out together, I think is a better way to approach the game than instantly jumping in with dudes who are like serious and min maxing and, you know,
I don't
who
think
know
we
how
I
all
don't
the
think we were
systems
min
work.
maxing, but like we just wanted to try to get to the fucking end.
But and also, I think that it has changed. I just can't pinpoint exactly what it is that's changed because it's been 2 years since I played it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm having lots of fun with that, and I'm looking forward to plowing through and getting up to the Taken King and seeing how all that stuff is.
Awesome. That's good to hear. I also thought of something that I was playing not this week, but previously that I thought you might appreciate, which was Quake 2.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, going through. I beat a couple of the first level or two. Just running around playing. That game does not hold up. Just throwing it out there.
no, it doesn't. Quake 1 is much better than Quake 2 in
It
hindsight.
seems. I think that I will agree with you because I started up Quake 1 and I was having a blast, just like running around and playing it. Quake 2, uh, man, it is rough.
Yeah, Quake 1 was the last John Romero designed Quake game.
Are you looking forward to Quake
And
Champions? Is that what it's called?
I'm not. I might pick it up if I hear very good things, but if I'm going to play Quake, I pretty much want Quake Live. I want the pure death match with the bunny hopping and all the old school stuff, very highly skill based. And Quake
Yeah.
Champions just looks like yet another class based FPS. And there's enough of those.
Right.
So we'll
Like,
see. I'm not like straight up writing it off saying under no circumstances will I play this, but it's got to win me over. It's not a shoe in.
yeah, I'm also with you on that. I was really excited when I saw that they were releasing a Quake game. Then I saw what they were doing, and I was like, wow, really? Come on, guys! Like, it's kind of like what they did with like the Doom multiplayer. Like, a great single player multiplayer was very generic.
I don't get it. Like, look at Counter Strike Go. Counter Strike Go. I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff bolted onto it, but the core experience is the exact same fucking game as Counter Strike was with new graphics.
Hmm.
I don't understand because Quake used to be almost as big as Counter-Strike. It's certainly on the, up there. It was a game that always popped up in that conversation. It's like, why don't you guys just make another Quake game? Or if you're going to do multiplayer, make it old school id style. I don't understand why no one's doing this. It's really weird to me. I guess kind of Unreal Tournament is with the new game that's plugging along, but even then, it's not. No one's tapping into that old school arena shooter market very well.
Well, maybe they feel it's just been played out, but I think that they would have something there if they actually dug into it and actually
Yeah,
committed to it.
it was played out in 2002,
Hmm.
and then we haven't gotten another one for 14 years. I think we're ready.
I am 100% with you. Unreal 2minute. I can't talk. Sorry, Unreal Tournament 2014 or 2004. Not so much, but Unreal Tournament, heck yeah,
Yeah.
like good times.
Well, no, 2004 was pretty good. It was 3 that was the crappy one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
There were so
And then
many of those.
I don't remember what the other one's called now. I've played a little bit of it. Maybe it's just called Unreal Tournament 4 or just Unreal Tournament, the reboot.
Unreal Tournament 9000. With my Vegeta Widow's Peak going on here.
Yeah, there you go. But the Nappa on top.
Indeed, it's all nappy on top. Oh man, that just brought me back to being in Spencer Mullen's living room, like his upstairs living room, watching anime till the wee hours of the morning. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get into our actual topic today, and that is that do video game developers have to live up to what their PR basically puts out for their game? And I think that's going to be a hard question for us to actually cover because the direct answer is yes, of course, right? Like they should, if they're releasing stuff, live up to what they are advertising. But at the same time, it's always a PR company or advertising company's job to put that product in the best possible light for the consumer. So they're going to show you what it does in the best possible angle. Now, in recent activity like No Man's Sky, we can say that's been taken a little to the extreme, and that what they advertise is not maybe what they released.
Yeah, and we've seen this before in Aliens Colonial Marines, in every Peter Molyneux game. The list goes on and on and on. But it just seems like, and the reason they say is, well, things change during game development. Okay, but they want to have it both ways, where they can use marketing to push whatever it is they're making and then never have to do any corrections. They never come back out and say, oh, actually, as development was going along, we ended up getting rid of this feature. It just silently goes away and we never hear about it. So I think that's what happened in No Man's Sky. Well, I think it's a combination of a couple things with No Man's Sky. I think one thing is Sean Murray kept getting swept up in the moment and then saying things that weren't true and then never issuing a correction. But I also think that some of the features they talked about for that game, like the factions, the different spaceship classes, all that, is stuff that was planned and just got reduced in scope as development went along. But they never said that. They were still using that outdated marketing material. And
they're still using outdated marketing material. On Steam, they still have that old trailer with like stuff that does not exist in the game. Like that shit should be pulled.
Or Aliens Colonial Marines, they were still using footage of a build of the game that clearly did not exist right up until release. And at the very, very, very minimum, you need to at least switch as the closer you get, and as you make more marketing material, you need to release stuff that's more representative of the final product.
Oh, they're never going to do that though, because then you'll see refunds galore.
Well, but that's what I mean. They're trying to have it both ways. They want all the positive benefits that you get from marketing, but they don't want any any possible negative outcome you can get from marketing honestly. And that's a problem. And now that we have refunds, that's a pretty good answer. Steam is pretty good about giving a lot of people refunds on No Man's Sky, and I think Aliens Colonial Marines was before the refunds happened, if I remember correctly. But maybe they honored them anyway for that. I don't remember. But
like Aliens Colonial Marines is BRH and this is ARH.
What do you mean?
Before refunds happen and after refunds happen?
Yeah.
Like, is that a discerning mark in the the generations of
It
games.
it kind of is because it fundamentally changed how fair Steam was to consumers. Steam was not a super pro consumer platform before they started offering refunds as much as they claimed otherwise. And now that gives people a lot more power.
Well, and
Or
they
you
didn't
look
do that
at
out of the goodness of their heart, though. They did that out of like the EU, or was it EU or Australia that had the consumer protection laws that basically forced them to do that, and
well,
then
in the countries where they had to, I think they lost a lawsuit, and that they were doing that for a while before they rolled it out for the U.S.
Mhm.
But I don't want to say, for all I know, Steam always wanted to do refunds, and it just took them that long to get it to happen. Or who knows? I don't want to attribute any type of malice to something that may not have been, you know, their fault. But at any rate, like the important thing is it's fixed now. So that's a huge positive step forward. But as far as companies, like I guess my biggest problem is when people say, "Well, you should just expect that the marketing's bullshit, and you don't get to complain when you get your game and it's wrong because you fell for the hype." Well, that's a bunch of crap. If the game that was advertised is not what you got, then you should be able to get a refund for that. Is it taken to extremes sometimes? Like if people go to a movie and a scene that was shown in the trailer isn't in it, so they get a refund? Yeah, but that's super rare.
but
It's
how do
rare enough that the theater will usually just give that person a refund so they go away.
but how do you quantify that? You can't really set that precedence that if you don't like it, then you get a refund, or like maybe there's a set time, but then you start getting things like in No Man's Sky. Let me see, how many hours do I have in No Man's Sky? I have 9 hours in No Man's Sky, and that's the point, and that's where it's been for weeks, um, because that's the point where I looked at it and I was like, okay, they really don't have anything in here. That's like 2 days worth of playing for me because I sat down and played it one session, went to sleep, went to work, sat down and played it again, and I was like, this is they do not have stuff in this game that they said they were going to have. And I applied for a Steam refund, but because of my time, I can't get a refund on that. Now, where how do you draw that then? Because in a case like this, that like 2 hours, yeah, typically I'd say the that you would have a good amount of time to say if this game is going to be what it needs to be for you and if it lives up to the expectation, but not in No Man's Sky. Like maybe a 2 hour percentage to how big the world is, or like
Yeah, there's no good answer to that, unfortunately. Because if you extend the amount of time out too far, then you're screwing indie devs who have short games. And if you make the amount of time too short, then we run into the exact same problem you and Ryan have with No Man's Sky, which is it didn't become clear that you were sold a pack of bullshit until you'd already played past the limit. And that's just a consequence of the game being so
hell,
long. But I
I
don't.
didn't. I didn't honestly get my ship up and running before the 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
Like,
And you know, it, that's a thing we can have a conversation about, and maybe it's something that retailers and Valve should look at on a case by case basis and evaluate when there's a big hubbub about it. But I don't think there's any single rule that you could apply across the board that's going to work for everything. And I think what they have now is pretty fair, 2 weeks and 2 hours. But some stuff will slip through the cracks. That's a bummer.
indeed, I do find it interesting that No Man's Sky is mostly negative on Steam. Like that. Hello Games, like we'll have to see how they support this game from here on out if they can actually get some of those things that they had promised was going to be there, like maybe any sort of depth whatsoever to the
Yeah, they
game.
can fix this. I believe that if you screw up, you can make things right. Like I don't believe this, oh, Hello Games is evil forever and I'll
Oh
never
no
give
no
them
no.
another dime. Like, yeah, guys, like spend the next few months doing some updates and then maybe when there's a sale, if you get your game fixed, I'll pick it up again.
Few
So,
months, I would say you better spend the next couple, like the next year, working on this thing because of what they promised. Like if maybe if they'd released what they would said they were going to, I would give them like a couple months for just like maintenance and stuff and upkeep. No, like they need to make right on some of the stuff that they had said, like that, or
yeah.
Sean Murray needs to come out and be like, yeah, hey, I fucked up, like my bad, like at least acknowledge that shit. Like I don't know
And
that's
he may not want to do that. He may even have lawyers or something advising him not to so he can avoid a class action lawsuit.
that's a good
Uh,
point.
because EA had one, or BioWare for the Mass Effect 3 ending, because they kept promising that all your choices would snowball into a custom ending, and apparently that didn't happen. I never played Mass Effect 3, but so yeah, like there are some good reasons for them to be quiet, but if they're going to be quiet, they need to knuckle down, and especially what would be really nice is if they'd lay out some, like, a roadmap of where they want to go with it, so people know what they're working towards.
Well, I wouldn't believe it if they put it out. Like
Oh, that's true.
I would look at it and I'd be like, okay, there's and because they'd be lofty. Like they're not going to put like, oh, animals now have proper toenails. Like it'll be like, oh, we've got our civilization stuff, we've got world building, like this and that. Yeah, I can write and draw pictures too, but doesn't mean
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna.
take it back. Now that I think about it more, that's a bad idea. Maybe just start getting the updates rolling.
There you
Start
go.
fixing some little things, and tweaking gameplay so people know you're on the job.
Show us by
And
doing.
it's not just bullshit. Yeah. Um, but yeah, like, and I want to stress again, I'm talking about refunds for false advertising here. I'm not talking about, oh, the game looked good in the advertising and it wasn't actually good, so I
Oh
didn't
no
get my
no
money.
no! I have plenty of
Very-
games where I have gotten burned. Where I like bought a game, I have no problem with that. Where I'm like, nope, my money's just gone. But in this case, in No Man's Sky, like I'm usually a pretty reasonable guy when it comes to creators and it comes to like the content. Like Legend, or was it Legend or Legendary or something like that? I bought that game was terrible. Bought it. Oh well, I got it now. Might as well play it through. No Man's Sky is a case of just what you're saying, false advertising. It's like that's something different. That's a whole different animal from this doesn't run, this doesn't look good, this doesn't, this
Yeah.
this isn't what they said it was is completely different from that.
Yeah, and another thing that companies can do, and so that Jim Sterling video I talked about earlier kind of mentioned BioShock Infinite, and how that was advertised as something very
Mm-hmm.
different than it was, but no one really cared. He said that he thought that's because the game was good, and there's some truth to that. People generally did like that game, but I think more than that, uh, all the interviews with Ken Levine and the other developers of that game, they kept stressing how much it changed throughout development.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If No Man's Sky, if Sean Murray had been out there talking about that game, going, "Oh, we're changing stuff all the time. We're really iterating on our design and making large changes if something's not working," then that would be a different thing altogether. Because then we'd be expecting, okay, some of the stuff we've seen earlier may change,
Yeah.
and I
Instead,
think
he
it
just
was
started building. He just kept building and building and building and building.
right. Yeah, stacking up a house of cards. Whereas Ken Levine was pulling out cards, going, well, we've thrown out 3 games worth of content for this game as we've developed it. So I think everyone was expecting, like, okay, the videos we saw 3 years ago for BioShock Infinite, probably not current.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
that
it's
was,
also you also have a very trusted person. You have someone with at least a somewhat reliable background with what they create being good, like in Ken
but
Levine and with Take Two.
you had that with Randy Pitchford and Aliens Colonial Marines.
True, but this is Hello Games. That argument doesn't stand any better. Like they're an even less known quantity. Like they were just a small indie game that they got picked up by Sony.
Right.
Like yeah.
Well, and that's another thing that bears mentioning is, I don't want to be too horribly hard on these guys, because they did kind of, Sean Murray's not a PR expert. He's never done this before. He's just some guy that was making a cool indie game that blew up because Sony stuck it in their press conference and it looked cool. So, like, I understand. I don't think that anything he did was malicious. I don't think it was a grand conspiracy to rob people of their money. I just think they kind of fucked up.
Yeah, maybe, but I still think that they should answer for that.
Absolutely. And they should make it right, for sure.
I completely concur. So, uh, I think the answer to our question is yes. Yes, they should live up
Yeah.
to their
Yes.
marketing.
You are accountable to your marketing. And there are some ways, I believe, like, do what Ken Levine did, stress that this game is still in development and features are in flux. And then that covers your bases pretty well.
Yeah, or you could maybe show or detail things like keep people in the loop, like something.
Yeah.
Just give your community that has given you money or is going to give you money or that you basically will rely on after this is done, give them some line into what's actually happening. Like, even up until about release, they were still showing there are things that were not indicative of the actual gameplay, which,
Yeah, like the density of the animal life and the types of creatures you were going to see and stuff like that, for sure.
yeah, like that's just bullshit. That's
And
false advertising. That's
that's
outright
probably some of the
lying,
easiest stuff to fix too.
right? Well, maybe not if you're going to have it on PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
I think their game may have been a little too ambitious for the hardware on which they were trying to make it for. Like, did they start doing it on PS4? I wonder, or were they like a PC start, and then Sony was like, "Hey, we like this idea."
No, this game's a port to the PC.
Yeah,
I
so
mean, straight up. So I think that it was a PS4 game.
gotcha. That seems strange to me to want to build something like that on a very limited platform like the PlayStation 4. Like,
Well, when they started, it wasn't limited, right? I mean, we've known about this game for 3 years.
true, but if you look at what the PS4 was, and you're looking at developing a game that you have all these grand ideas for and the scope of, the first thing I would think of is, oh yeah, let's go for the hardware that's already out of date, even 3 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I mean, I think the PS4 is only outdated compared to the PC, by which I mean it's not like the original Xbox days where you have Deus Ex Invisible War with room-sized loading areas because that's all the memory it has. If you are smart about how you develop your game, I think the PS4 can run pretty much any kind of game. It's not hardware limited in that respect. You know what I
No,
mean?
but with what No Man's Sky wanted to do, it is very limited. Like, just based on the fact that they don't have enough RAM to do that. To do the stuff that he was showing and to have the things going on like that, you would need way more RAM than the PS4 can give you. Hell, you would need probably more RAM than I've got right now.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. I mean, it's such a weird engine they're using where everything's procedurally generated that
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of resources it sucks up on the hardware or anything like that. I just have no idea. I doubt that it's a hardware decision. If I were guessing, I suspect that they just dug really hard to find super cool planets to show in the marketing, and that they should have tweaked their algorithm somehow to make more planets that way. Because in the few hours I played, all the planets I saw sucked. I didn't see
Hmm.
one cool place,
Yeah, same here.
and that's true of a lot of people. Some people got lucky and started off on a cool planet, but
So I
this,
did start off on a nice, like, picturesque planet, and then I had the fucking terrible, the terrible running, so I restarted it to fix some stuff, and then it didn't save, of course. Then I was on this barren, like, radioactive planet. It's like,
yeah,
oh, great. So that's how this works. They give you a good one to start with.
yeah. I don't think they fully understood their incentive structure, which was that
There is none.
people aren't going to give a shit about surviving in your game unless they get to see cool stuff while they're surviving.
Yeah, or there's something to
That's what the
do.
incentive is going cool places and seeing cool things. Well,
Yeah,
because there is nothing to do. Like that's what you want. That is the thing to do is see that stuff. And when that wasn't there or was super rare, I think that was a bigger knock for a lot of players than even the missing features were. Honestly.
yeah. I mean, how did somebody put it? Like, yeah, it's a vast universe that's the depth of a puddle,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. But this has just become a No Man's Sky bashing fest. What we really, were covering was the if developers need to live up to their PR hype, and I think that not hype, but their PR advertisement. And I think that is indeed the case. But I think we've said all we're going to say on that. And this week, I think we're going to have to bid you folks adieu at this point. So, Rob, thank you very much for taking time to come on.
Absolutely.
And thank you, listener, for taking time to listen or watch or do however you are doing this. You can always reach us at gameoutloudpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us at gameoutloudcast on Twitter. We're on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, all those kind of fun places. So go ahead and find us there and listen up. We will have an update of those audio files. I'm just trying to see how we do here on the YouTube aspect of it. So let us know if you want to see more of those audio files online and a less of a focus on video, or what you think. So at Game Out Loudcast or GameOutLoudPodcast.com. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and we will, of course, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.